That was yesterday, right?
It might have been, yeah.
I think so.
Oh yeah, this is your lady who you guys remember
People age. They
watching
try
this?
to find ways to preserve their appearance, and a Florida woman says
Do you
she
remember
has
this?
found the fountain of youth.
News Channel 5's Tanya Rogers joins us now
It's
with a
impressive.
special report. Tanya?
Well, Jane, Jan, and I have had several people ask me, how old is she? She is a grandmother, and she is eligible for a senior citizen discount. Her quest started because she wanted to feel healthy and have lots of energy, but she has reaped more benefits than she anticipated. And here we have some ginger. Annette Larkins shows off her garden in her Miami-Dade County backyard. It's full of fruits and vegetables. Every corner of her garden has something that is edible.
She
I've
grows
been
her
eating
own
them, and
food.
they're so good. She also collects great water to drink and water her plants. Annette says the food in her garden is her fountain of youth.
I'm very vibrant. I have lots of energy, as I told you before. I'm up at no later than 5:30 in the morning as a rule, and I'm ready to go.
Annette's husband owned a meat store in the 1960s. That's when she became a vegetarian. But as the years went by, she became a raw vegan. She does not eat any animal products. Her food is unprocessed and uncooked.
My diet consists of fruits, nuts, vegetables, and seeds. I do a lot of sprouting of seeds, and as you can see from my garden, of course, these are the raw foods that I eat.
Annette also juices fruits and veggies. You name it, she can juice it. Grapefruits, pineapples, even spinach. But not everyone in the Larkins family eats and drinks this way. Annette's husband of almost 54 years chose to continue to eat the way he did when they were first married.
I really wish I would have, but it was bad.
Amos Larkin says people even wonder if Annette is his wife.
They'll ask me, what am I doing with a young girl? Or they'll say, you got your granddaughter with you. And things like that.
Amos takes prescription medicines daily for high blood pressure and diabetes. Annette says she doesn't even take an aspirin. Because friends and strangers kept asking her questions about her health and youthful appearance, she decided to publish 2 Journey to Health booklets, and she produced the DVD 12 years ago.
Discovery Channel, they took sections of the booklet and translated them into Spanish, which, by the way, is my second language.
So how old is this size 4 beauty? Annette just turned 70 years old.
This one
That's
lady who
crazy.
was my age, she said, she was telling her friend that I used to tell them about eating, and they wouldn't listen. Her reply was to that, or her response to that was, look at her now and look at us.
She's an amazing person. Oh man. I mean, really, she do everything. I mean, build computers. Oh, she make all her own clothes, grow her own food, speak 3 languages.
It's kind of funny.
It's amazing.
Now, Annette has been eating completely raw for 27 years, and we want to remind everyone, no matter how old you think she really looks, she changed her lifestyle to feel better and have a good quality of life. And her husband says, I wish I had done what she did. And I said, well, is it too late? He was, yeah, it's too late for me.
She looks fantastic, but in this day and age, a lot of people ask me, has she had plastic surgery?
She hasn't. She said she hasn't had any plastic surgery. She said, but never say never. Because she said, maybe when I'm 80, I might change my mind. But she hasn't had any plastic surgery. And it's really neat because he says she's so beautiful. And he says when he wants to get help when he goes to like the grocery store or something, he says, Annette, you walk in front of me because you get all the attention and then I'll be able to ask the questions.
Works out in his favor there.
And her kids, her 2 boys are in their 50s, early 50s. Yeah.
How was the orange juice? I saw you tasting it.
It was very good. And she literally
I bet
drinks
that's
all
good
that for
stuff.
like a week or 2 weeks. Yeah. So
I would drink that in Nicaragua every day. They like by hand squeezed everything out right there in front of you. It was crazy.
I don't know where, but instead of buying like orange juice from the fridge, like they have the juicer there.
Oh,
And you do it yourself. It was like fresh and clean.
okay. So yeah, that would be if you led a group similar, it would be your self-care group. I know you guys have already seen my self-care stuff, but every semester, what's that?
That's a self-care group.
Yes, there is. A lot of people in social work, you need them. Sometimes they'll do it just for social workers from your supervisor. So I did my self-care You've probably seen this before.
I don't remember. You really can't- you really say yourself.
What'd you say?
You really say anything about self-care. You like, "Oh, I'll show you already." And I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, so you've never seen the self-care PowerPoint. All right, today's the day.
I've seen it with the keto.
Oh, you have? Okay, good. Because we all should be doing it every class. If my eyes work, we'll be on to this. There it is. How many PowerPoints can you own in one? So, introducing this group, I always say this quote, it is from 9/11, September 11th, 2001. In the theater of life, the other becomes the illuminated part of the stage. Our I is outside the illumination. The lives of others, their hopes, ideas, goals, aspirations, pains, fears, despair, and anger. These are the clients you see. Like we hear in counseling, people talk to us all the time. So they're in focus. Like a leaf under a microscope, we see all this in highly illuminated detail as counseling therapy, therapist, teacher, or health practitioner. The other gets our attention. Out of the illuminated microscope, we easily lose sight of our own needs, like the needs to not respond to all needs. So it's saying take that time to do self-care. You can't care for anybody till you care for yourself. And that's in our family, that's with our friends, that's with everybody. So we made this PowerPoint for self-care practitioners. It says, counselors and social workers and crisis responders are in direct contact with individuals encountering extremely difficult emotional events. As such, social workers are at risk for becoming emotionally overwhelmed and stressed themselves. When not properly managed, this stress can lead to impairment in their job duties. Indeed, research confirms that a counselor and social worker self-care is correlated to the counselor's ability to meet the client's needs. So when you do your own self-care, you serve your clients better. So we learned here about secondary traumatic stress, compassion fatigue, burnout, self-care. In this, we call it emptying your cup and then nurturing yourself. So I think this slide is twice. There it is, twice. Oh, but that one's shorter. Interesting. I wonder what's different about it. It has like an extra word in there. I can't tell. Can you guys see what it is? It's like missing one line.
The individual thing?
Yeah. Interesting. I've never noticed that. So secondary traumatic stress or compassion fatigue is a set of symptoms that may occur in service providers working with individuals who experience trauma or a crisis. So weird. Anyway, the symptoms mirror the post-traumatic stress symptoms exhibited by the individual experiencing direct trauma. So you're talking to the client about trauma, and you also get secondary trauma and why we need self-care and like a way to like flick that energy off us, so to speak. Symptoms include re-experiencing flashbacks, nightmares, arousal, anxiety, hyperactivity, and avoidance. They already want me on call at Crossroads. So some of your symptoms are like avoidance of your job, numbing reminders of traumatic events, persistent arousal if you're like always like stressed, looking around, intrusive thoughts or images of the clients or your own traumatic experience. It could get you to remember something from your own childhood, like, whoa. Difficulty separating work from your personal life, lowered frustration tolerance, dread of working with certain clients. Like you'll see they're on the calendar and you're like, oh God. Actually, I had that happen today. As I had a client, he's increased countertransference, depression, assumptive world disturbances, ineffective or self-destructive, self-soothing behaviors. That could be drugs and alcohol or eating, hypervigilance, decreased feelings of work competence, diminished sense of purpose or enjoyment in one's career, loss of hope, helplessness, and confusion. So those are the things, and we're going to show how to avoid these. You do self-care to avoid these. Otherwise, you get burnout. So burnout is when compassion fatigue or secondary traumatic stress occurs when a service provider is working with clients experiencing trauma. Burnout refers to exhaustion from emotionally demanding work. They have me pick a date for when I'm on the call, and it looks like the little effers already used like a bunch. Let me see here. I have to send a picture to my wife is doing her self-care right now. It's getting her hair did. You guys ever do that? Is it always expensive like that? Like what?
What's she getting?
All kinds of like color and shit.
Oh yeah,
like,
color is really expensive.
So mine is $16, but they'll always say I only do it once a year. So it's like 40, 60, 80 or 90. I guess it could be as much as hundreds.
Yeah.
I don't do it, but I'm trying to be supportive. So she doesn't have burnouts with the kids at home. So counselors who are burned out will experience depleted energy and decreased effectiveness. Burnout symptoms. That is, counselors experience burnout may have the following: negative concept and attitudes towards work, your coworkers, or your clients, disillusionment, boredom, like you just get bored at work, which is mind-blowing, but it can happen. Errors and accidents, that's usually on your notes, like you're just burned out and tired, and you just start trying to write a note. You're just like, oh, I just can't. So you got to do the self-care. Impatience and irritability, like maybe you'll pick up the phone, like, what do you want? That it's kind of funny, but it's kind of not. But if you're burnt out, it could happen. Or if you have 3 kids and you stay up, I sleep 4 hours a night, I'm tired. Impatience and irritability, physical depletion. She's already got a response, the 21st. See, I knew that would happen. So I will be on call the weekend of October 21st. 21, please. Okay. My self-care is I ask her first, and she tells me the date that I need to be on call because there'll be a family event, which I think she's writing now. Conference is the 28th. Oh, she already knows my social work conference to keep us accredited is the 28th. There we go. That's really funny. Oh, she must have slept more than I did last night. Physical depletion, so tiredness, pain, headaches, illnesses, because your immune system breaks down if you don't like sleep enough, or heck, your phone dies. I'm noticing this. I have to go to airplane mode before this stupid thing dies. You ever do that?
Mm-hmm.
Low battery and airplane mode? But you guys don't have home buttons anymore, do you?
Mm-mm. You still got a home button?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I refuse to buy a new phone. Feelings of helplessness or hopelessness, withdrawal from relationships and isolation, and then grandiosity. So here's your poor self-care deadly dozen. So make sure to avoid these things if you can. And this is a dude who researched it. It is 22 years old, but it's still true. So the top 12 are, excuse me, I need another cup of coffee. I already drank that much of it. You could have a top toxic supervisor or colleague support. That could be the same with teachers in grad school or undergrad. If you have like a toxic teacher, you never know. It could happen. You know, I'm not putting it past them. Hopefully you put it in your ratings at the end of class. Like if they're toxic to you, they really shouldn't be. They're here to pass education on. If you have little fun, which is you need to have playfulness, humor, and laughing in life or in work, like you need to be able to have fun. If there's no fun, you're going to be miserable. This is written weird, but it says only a fuzzy and articulated understanding of one's own needs. So like, if you don't know you need self-care, you're not going to do it in the first place. If you don't know you need to have better nutrition, you're not going to eat right. If you don't know, also at the job, if they don't give you a contract of what you're supposed to do at work, you'll always get a contract. Even in your internships next year, they'll say, here's what's expected of you. And you have a field contract, you sign it, they sign it, you do your stuff, you work there 400 hours, get your internship done and graduate with a degree and can get a good job. So you want more than a fuzzy, inarticulated understanding of what you have to do. It's like a syllabus. If you have a well-run syllabus, it tells you the 3 or 4 assignments. You know you do those, you're good to go. No stress. Also, if you have a no energy giving personal life, so you want to make sure to have some energy giving, maybe even things that you do. Maybe it is getting your hair done or nails or whatever. Inability to say no to unreasonable requests. That's true in personal life and at work. And in relationships, you need to be able to say no and feel confident. Like, it might not be best if I do this now. I'm tired. You could also have vicarious traumatization when you talk with too many traumatized clients. So making sure to balance that. Personal relationships that are predominantly one-way, caring relationships with a self as giver. So you don't want people that just take from you all day long. You're going to burn out if that's the case. You need to have like a reciprocal. You can talk, you can have friends, coworkers that way too. Constant perfectionism and work tasks. I always relate that back to writing your notes. So if you need them to be perfect, you got to let that go, because that's how you learn. You're like, write a note. Your supervisor will be like, no, say what you did with the client, what you talked about, and this, and it's fine. And then you fix it again. Or continual unresolved, ambiguous professional losses. Maybe you work at a place where everybody quits all the time, including your supervisor. That's not going to be a good place to work. Like, there's obviously something you can read. Is it on Indeed? They tell you if it's like a toxic work environment, or Glassdoor, one of those. They're like, don't work here. It sucks.
I think they have something like when, I think it is Indeed.
So just checking out for yourself. Social workers could have a strong need to be needed. So making sure that you're not finishing, graduating, and all of that. And then professional success defined solely by clients or students' positive change. Because you'll have clients that fail. And if you take it personal, you'll be miserable. If you're like, I know in addiction recovery, like 40 or 50% were going to fail or succeed. And I had to be okay with it. I'm not going to finish everybody perfect, get them sober, have a perfect family life. That's up to a higher power, not myself. So here is some other stressors for novice service providers. We mentioned, in addition to everything, novice counselors and social workers encounter challenges that further impact your wellness. Like educational experiences prepare you for a successful career. They don't prepare you for other challenges. So I wrote some of these in years ago. Is this another double slide? Damn it. It is. Look at that. Yeah, I guess I did add to it though. So I meant like new counselors will know, you need to know how to set emotional boundaries as well as time boundaries for your new jobs. A lot of times they expect you to see 20 clients a week, bill for 20 hours a week, and write your notes. And that's your 40 hours, 9 to 5 every day. For
Clients on the first day.
no, 20 clients on the first week.
That's still a little bit too much.
That's just 4 a day.
That's a little bit too much.
Well, they usually start you off slow.
That was like,
So maybe it would be they have you do just 2 or 3 the first day, and they slowly build your caseload as you get confident. But the general expectation that pays your salary for your position is 20.
having 20 clients. Do you have to do all of them in 1 week?
Usually you do. I would do like 3 or 4 a day. I would try to do 9, 10, 11, 12, and then I'd come back at lunch, write my notes while I was eating, and I'd go home at like 2.
Oh,
It was nice. That's a nice job right there. I kind of missed that. It was about 45, 55,000 a year. It's not bad.
I mean, it's not, but it's like, I feel like in that type of job, you would experience burnout more.
You can, as you do have to learn how to be efficient and flowy. My first job only expected 16 hours a week, but we had 4 10-hour days. So I would do still 4 every day. And they told me to take Fridays off, but I would come in and write my notes, like relaxed Friday. So
Can you work Saturday?
you can work any day you want.
Oh, you pick, you pick your own days and you still decide to come in on Friday and Saturday?
Usually that's because I started adding 2 or 3 jobs and I had 70 hours a week I was working. When I was getting my doctorate, I had a full-time job. I saw clients on Saturday or Sunday. I also had like a GA at school for 10 or 20 hours. It was 60 or 70 hours every week.
This is when you were getting your doctorate.
I kicked some ass. So this is where you ask the questions before you take the job. We say wellness begins before you take the job. She said, my mom is nervous I won't be home in time because she's getting her hair did and the kids are all sleeping. They're like afraid, like they're little monsters, like they're waking up.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that kind of funny? Like, no, she woke up. Isn't that hilarious?
As soon as they wake up, it's terrorizing.
She said, I told her probably close to 2, and she's like, oh, my mom is nervous that I won't be home in time. Did I show you what they were doing on Friday? Were you here Friday when they were doing the somersaults over the couch?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
I was alarmed.
For good questions, and you need to remember to ask these when you're getting a job. So that's why I say wellness begins before you take the job. So remember to ask and negotiate when you're being hired in a social work position to protect yourself. Remember to ask about mileage. If you're doing home visits, are they paying you 55 cents a mile? That's big. What did you say? Right. You will. $5,000 will get you a car if you can.
What am I gonna get $5,000 from?
From the scholarship.
I'm not a resident.
You can easily, you don't graduate till next year. I got it in less than a year. Just work on it.
I just I have to get my license first. Because they want Ohio license on the website.
So just go get a Ohio DMV. Do you have a Indiana license?
Permit.
And now that you're 18, I feel like you can take it without the driving hours.
No, I know. I don't. They didn't even give me a paper. They were just like, okay, well, you can go now. And ever since then, I've been trying to practice.
So you can get your ID printed even with your permit in Indiana. And how do I reprint my Ohio DMV ID? Obtain a replacement ID online. Dang. So you're just going to go to one of these, probably in Xenia. Ohio DMV in Xenia. Is there one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go. Just go right down there. $5,000. You took like an Uber for $20 or walk there. Take the green line.
I never been. I'll try it.
Are you an Ohio resident?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So yeah, just go get your ID. Use the, and they may try to make it difficult, but I would do everything I could to get $5,000. That's what I did in Kentucky. I got $5,000.
To get it, was it easier back then?
Same difference. I had to go register to vote. I had to go get one of these stupid cards. I still have my Kentucky license laying around somewhere. I bought a house. They let you register to vote here, though. I know that they do. Because
They do, but I don't know if last time they wanted us to vote for something.
They did?
Yeah, like.
What?
I think it was, I don't know, senator or mayor, I don't remember. They stopped me, and I was like, oh, I'm from Indiana though, so I don't really know. And he was like, well, you can register to vote in Ohio, or you can vote, you said you could vote in Indiana, probably just a mail-in ballot.
Right, yeah, you can.
I just feel like, I don't even know what this is about. No, it's like,
You just wanted to do homework. Let's see if there are. Submit something tonight. What are the dates available? You can present any date. So you can lead a group any of our Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes. So yeah, register to vote, get an Ohio ID. I think you would want an ID card. Do you have an Indiana ID at all?
yeah, permit.
So that's actually a picture.
Yeah, just picture me where I live and.
Yeah, September. She's asking what are the dates available. Let's see here. I want to find a way to get you all that money. So for folks online too, there is, if you are 2 years away from graduation, that usually means you're at 60 hours, but because you could do 18 your last 4 semesters, that would give you 3, 6, 9, 12. You could technically be at like 50 and still qualify for this scholarship, graduate in 2 years. My argument is that if you're at 45 and you want to graduate in December, that's still 2 years from now. 2 years and 2 months is December, as we're giving the money out up until December of next year. There is 6, 7, or 8,000 for each student. You do have to be an Ohio resident. That's the tricky part. I think there's ways around that still. You can become a resident, and when you move back home, just become a resident back there. It's not that big of a deal. Yes, it'll be a little. In Kentucky, they were hard asses. I had to like prove, and it took 12 months to prove I was a resident, and then they gave me the $5,000 off my tuition, which was cool.
How do they?
They wanted to see a house. They wanted to see your driver's license. They wanted to see like a bill. They wanted to see a car and a license plate and
They just said, oh, we just need you to bring you 2 pieces of mail.
Oh, they did?
For Indiana, yeah.
Oh.
I had moved to a new house and it didn't match.
Do you guys get mail here with your,
No.
but you could?
Mhm.
Okay.
Like, but they don't do, I know they don't do packages. It has to be like a physical mail.
Right. No, I get that. But what would your address then be? 1400 Brush Row Road?
Mhm.
And
It'll
then-
go to the 2.
Okay.
Or if it's like, well, it's like actual mail. It will go, oh yeah, we'll go to the 2. Mail room, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I would try everything I can to become an Ohio resident for at least your last year of college, and then you can go right back to being an Indiana resident. You are supposed to work for an Ohio agency too after you graduate.
I'm supposed to work at Ohio. Right? Yeah, that's not work.
You really don't want to be in Ohio. Because you can work on the Indiana border. How far are you guys from the Indiana border? 1 hour?
But where I live from,
Because what if it was remote work?
if it's remote, then that's fine. I
Right.
highly doubt it is.
Well, some people work for like Aetna and the insurance companies, and they do it remote.
I got it.
Right. So they hire social workers remote. So just keep an open mind. That's a lot of money to turn down that easily. I would
I
find
mean,
anybody.
it is, but it just seems like so much work.
I understand that, but that's why there's money involved. Like money is always work.
Because they want people in Ohio to work.
Because it's from Governor DeWine, and it's from.
I wonder if my state. I don't know.
That's a good question. Maybe you can see if they will pay for you to get your social work degree as an Indiana resident. Oh, wow.
You're the professor.
Yeah, but I'm not in charge of y'all's money. But I will find it. I will find it for you when I can.
But you, I think professors stay in click somehow, no matter where y'all work at. Y'all spill the beans.
I just don't know anybody who's in Indiana.
No.
But for us, it's called the Ohio Great Minds Act. Great Mind Scholarship. So if there's an Indiana Great Mind, maybe look that up. Say, let me Google that for you.
Oh, I have a 21st century.
You do?
Yeah, they got 21st century school in Indiana for free. I'd be first generation college student. And
So you got some money from that.
No, I didn't. They said my mom made too much.
There's a lot of Great Mind Scholarship. Child Welfare Scholars Program.
Oh, yeah, Miss Karen Johnson.
Right. Great Minds in STEM. I didn't know they had one too. That's interesting. So yeah, it will require you to advocate for yourself. So getting that scholarship. Same with when you can take the job. So make sure you get vacation time. All places should give you 2 weeks vacation time. If it's a full-time job, you get 2 weeks paid. Make sure sick time is included too. Sometimes you'll see 1, 2, or 3 sick days. Retirement, and then how long it is to get vested. Like here, I had to work 5 years to be vested.
Do social workers get pension
Sometimes,
depending on the company?
yes. So, also, every year you want a cost of living raise, especially this year. You know how much things went up this year?
I just keep hearing everything's crashing.
Oh, you think it's going to crash?
No, I just keep, we don't think so all the time.
Like the prices or the markets?
It was like housing market, real estate, stock market.
It's because nobody can afford it. Like with,
I don't really care for that. It's like what it's cost. It's like you put money in it, so do you potentially own that company as well? No.
in a sense, you're an investor in that company. Yeah, so you can invest what you believe in.
Yeah, I just feel like it's like another way of gambling.
I agree with that in the stock market. That's why I'm glad we have a pension instead. But it's funny because the pension's invested in the stock market. I'd rather own land with fruit trees and berry bushes and chickens and a cow and like a stream running through it. Yeah, that's an investment in the future. Okay, she has an Ohio ID. Does this work for graduates too? Oh, well, I did residency in Kentucky for graduate school. That's when I did it. So
So it's easier to get graduate
it's a little bit easier, but y'all adults now, so you can.
school.
Usually they want you to live there 12 months before you start going. So that's the tricky part. Or if you have a relative with an address there and you apply to that graduate school, that's another side hustle story. Do you have any relatives in Ohio?
No.
Not even one?
No. I have some in California.
Any friends with an Ohio address you can just poach?
I did have one friend, she moved to Kentucky, but she didn't move to Ohio. But she moved back to Indiana anyway.
Yes. Brittany asked, when we pick a date, tell you what week we're picking and presenting. Do you want it typed in Word? I think it will only let you submit in a Word document. So just like,
I'm not just doing stuff.
oh,
And then like that, like this day.
You're making me go outside my comfort zone.
Outside.
Yes, it is.
I mean, well, do you wanna open up a Word document and it only says, oh, a license person I picked this day?
Brittany said, yes, that's what I think too. But yeah, submit it to me just so I have it on record, but I'll do it in a discussion too, so you guys can all see it. What's that?
One in Word, so we'll keep it that way.
You can submit it. Well, sometimes I let you submit things in the comments,
What comments?
like the comment side of the discussion.
So do you want us to submit it on the comments or just like an actual Word document?
Sometimes they make you submit a Word document.
Well, I'll just submit a Word document.
So you guys don't have to do Girl Circle. If you find something you'd rather lead on your own, that you've done the research yourself, again, being proactive. I know in college, a lot of times we like to watch it like a movie and just think everything, I just sit back and chill. I get that. But we are empowering you to empower yourselves.
It's working fine.
What's that? If you did another search history for like leading a mental health group and process of leading a mental health group. Let's see here. What's that?
I think I tried to look for one.
Oh, you found a mental health group that you could lead?
No, I tried, but the one I wanted, there was like, you had to pay to download it.
They always want you to pay, right? Yeah.
So, and you could, they won't even let you read it. Really, they'll give you like a paragraph or two, and then that's it.
Right.
So I'm like, cheap either. I was like, I don't know how much it was.
Well, this one would have been $10,000, so they're all expensive. Here's your last thing. When you guys get hired in a year and a half from now, you would be graduating and getting a job. And maybe it's graduate school. Maybe you do both, like you work full-time during graduate school. Ask about cost of living wages, workplace culture, and will you get supervision? Clinical supervision. Because some of them are making you pay for an outside supervisor because they're just too cheap to hire a LISWS, like what I have to clinically supervise. I don't want to pay for it. Just like, well, we don't want to do that.
I think that should be mandatory. You have to have one.
I do too, but that's something you would want to ask for. Are everyone in this class out-of-state resident? Oh, I have an Ohio ID. Okay, so if you guys have the Ohio ID, you could get the scholarship. If you don't, I would recommend trying to just get residency.
Is there a way to get temporary residency? And
Probably.
still get the scholarship?
Probably. I feel like there's a way to get it. That's why I'm putting it out there. I don't want you losing out on $5,000 because if it's like, oh, I don't want to go to the DMV. Like, just go to the DMV, get an ID card. Say, huh? You don't have a ride there? Is it worth $5,000 to find a ride or walk 3 miles? Because I would. I'm sure it's 3 miles to Xenia. I'd run.
I want to see one from here to Xenia.
I'll do it today.
He always ready.
I'll do it today.
Yeah, it's not like too. I want you to have to make a video of you doing it.
My phone might die for that. It'll take me 30 minutes to get there and 30 minutes to get back. Mm-hmm.
You can't run that fast.
I run 10-minute miles. I have it right here. And I know we'll finish this PowerPoint next week, but here's my most recent. You either do Map My Run, Strava, or here's what it looks like. So yesterday, if you want an exact time and date, I did 6.3 and I ran it in 59 minutes right here.
On the treadmill?
No, I ran outside. I did what was called like the switch trail. 6.4 and I had a 9:31 pace. So there's the stadium. I ran up that bike trail, the switch trail. I ran all the way to the other road there and then I ran back. And it was 9:31 per mile. 1 hour flat. I'm about to go do it again. Brittany's in Michigan. So if you guys can get Ohio residency, the scholarship is open. This dude needs to get the scholarship too.
I'm getting on it. You just told me about it. I'm definitely getting on it.
You all-
Once I heard 5 to 10K, I need
Y'all
some
need
money.
to get your,
I need some money. I was just talking to her.
y'all need to find Jesus. So if you're not an Ohio resident, get your Ohio residency. Like go to the BMV, get your temporary license card and register to vote. What else do you do to get residency? Anything else? Well, the address is here. You can use this address. It's like you're in prison, but you're at school. You can use this address. You do live here. So we'll finish this one on, we got halfway through it. 14 of 29. We'll be on 15 of 29. Self-care group. Huh?
I'm self-care group.
My self-care group?
I know what it was.
So yes, get your residency. Nikita told you about it.